All right, and we're here for another episode of Entering the Sports World. We're here with Ryan Harrison, owner and in-game host of the Welland Jackfish and Ontario Hockey League referee. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Bryce, thanks for having me. I always like to talk to Lambton College students, my alma mater. There you go.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that as well. Lambton Sports and Rec Alumni as well. We'll start with the Lambton College. What was it like for you back when you went to Lambton College?
Well, we didn't have all the fancy stuff you guys have with the new gym and the new facilities, but I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I still have friends that live in Sarnia, and my best friend still lives there, so I go see him from time to time. But it was a great place to live, especially when you got there in early September when it was real nice out still, down by the water and stuff like that. And I can't say enough for where the program's at now and where it was when I was there. It's an excellent sports management program. I'd highly recommend it to anybody, as you probably well know. Lambton College is a great place to go to school. It's probably even better now than when I went there. But yeah, I can't say any better about that place.
Yeah, it's a really great place to go to school. Was there anything like any special funny memories you have at the school?
Not at the school, but we did go on a class trip to Cleveland for a weekend. So that was actually pretty amazing. We had to tour Brown Stadium and Progressive Field and Simone Center and all that kind of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. Other than that, you know what? We had a really close group of friends in our sports and recreation program. And we all kind of stay close. I still talk to a few guys in our program and stuff like that. So that's probably my best memory is probably just making the friendships I did while I was there. It was a great group of guys and girls, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I seem to notice that from everyone, and even just like the group I'm in with right now, is it is a close group, and like Ange and Justin always say, it is kind of just the sports and rec family all together.
Yes. Yeah.
With that being said, we're going to jump into some talk about the baseball, your baseball career, and with that. Starting with, you started out as a part of the game day operations and worked your way up. Now, what was that like?
Well, I got a feel for how really, really low level sports works, semi-pro sports works. And it was fun. It was good. It was a good experience. I tell everybody that I talk to that, students like yourself and stuff like that is when you come back from the summer, if you have an opportunity to volunteer for the sports team, if you really want to be in sports, do it. Always be involved. Always do this kind of thing. When I came back to Burlington, where my hometown is, after school in the summers, I found this team was moving to Burlington, and I said, "Oh, I've never heard of this team in this league before. Let's check it out." And from there, I actually got my first full-time job in sports. So, those kind of things always happen. You just got to put yourself out there and volunteer when you can and get involved.
Yeah, so jumping in, you became the owner of the team. What was that like, building your way through those steps?
Yeah, so it all started 2017. The owner of the Burlington team was trying to sell, and he asked me if I wanted to buy it. And I said to him at the time, I said, I can't buy a baseball team. I mean, that's just insane. I just got started, and we kind of left it for a couple of months. And he came back to me and goes, "Listen, I'm really trying to sell this thing. Can you buy it?" And I said, I can. He goes, "Well, what if you get a couple of guys together and I give you a good price?" And I said, "Okay, well, I'll look into it." So I found two gentlemen that now call my friends, and we bought the team from him in 2016. We bought it, and then we ran it in Burlington for 2 years, which was not the greatest experience ever. It was really a grind and not well received, and we played in a really bad park. And then after the 2018 season, we moved to Welland, and it's been pretty much a honeymoon from that point forward. It's been amazing.
Is there a reason you chose Welland over Niagara or St. Catharines, other areas, like other towns in that area?
Yeah, Welland has the best park. They have the best setup. They have everything there we need. Our office is there. It has a great dressing room. And I knew the people of Welland would support this team. I knew they'd come out in droves, and and I knew they'd be very passionate. So that's why we ventured in there and we made a deal with the city.
What is your favorite your favorite feature of the stadium?
I don't know. I like the open concept of it. The concourse comes down into the stands. I like there isn't a bad seat in the place. For me and my business with me is I'm not a traditional baseball fan. I don't watch baseball all that often, to be honest with you, unless it has something to do with entertainment. For me, it's all about entertaining people. I want to make sure the minute they hit the parking lot to the minute they leave, they had the best time of their life. And our stadium sets us up to do, sky's the limit with whatever we want to do. So it's a great spot. But yeah, definitely the fact that there's not really a bad seat in the house is probably number one.
So you're also an in-game host. What's that like, being both the owner and the in-game host?
Well, the reason I decided to do that is number one, I like people. I like interacting. I'm a very outgoing person. So I thought I'd be able to articulate that in my in-game hosting ability. So that was number one. Number two was most owners of sports teams, they sit up in the booth, they have a beer, they don't really you don't see much of them. I wanted to be the guy that you saw me. Like I'm the figurehead. You see me all the time. I'm having the best time, so that means hopefully my fans, my players, and everybody else is having the best time. So that's kind of why I did it, because I wanted people to know that I'm very serious about the team. I'm very passionate about being very successful here and staying within the community and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can tell you're passionate about the team. But going through the tough times, like through COVID right now and not being able to physically play on the diamond, I've seen you posting online, the Welland Jackfish posting online about all their different ways of keeping the fans interested with their virtual home opener. What were some of the challenges you were going through starting that up?
Well, see, the thing is, this isn't even with the sports industry. It's with every business. People want to have a good interaction with your business. They want to be, everybody wants to be entertained. You do, I do, everybody. My approach is let's entertain the people always. We can't be in the field, no problem. We'll put out funny music videos. We'll put out skits. We'll do promotions for packages. We'll do a virtual home opening. For us, we're only in year one in Welland, so for us, it's about staying relevant. It's trying to stay in people's minds so that if we don't play this year, then in 2021, they'll remember that they had so much fun with us during COVID, and they'll come back to the stadium when we open back up. But sorry, to answer your question, the challenges is just coming up with new ideas all the time. I got a staff right now of 5 interns. We have a call every week, and we're just trying to bring up not only new revenue generating ideas, because obviously the business needs to make money, but also ideas that keep our fans entertained, that aren't things that aren't duds, or things that keep people entertained and have fun and all that kind of stuff.
One thing I forgot to mention in the intro was I used to be a part of the Hamilton Bulldogs and their marketing team. What's the biggest difference you find between hockey and baseball?
Oh, huge. Baseball, you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's outdoors. If you want to shoot a guy out of a cannon straight up in the air, yeah, sure, you can probably do that. You want to light off the world's biggest fireworks display, yeah, you can probably do that. Hockey is, don't get me wrong, hockey is my number one love of sport, but it can be very stale with the offering you give to fans. There's only so many entertainment things you can do with that. So I like the fact that baseball is more of a feel. I always say this: the baseball feel is you're going out to hang out with your neighbors you haven't seen in a long time. Where I don't find that in hockey. It's not a laid back kind of feel. That's why I like baseball. It's more laid back. It's a social outing, that kind of thing.
I guess, yeah, that makes sense with being able to firework night and all that. How long have you refereed for, though?
Well, I'm 29 now, and I've been refereeing since I was, I think, 13 or 14 years old.
Oh, so you've had to work your way up, obviously. Now, what is that like being a ref at the OHL level?
You know what? It's the best time in the world. I'll tell you that right now. Besides my baseball team, it's my second favorite non-family related thing to do. You hit the ice. You're in front of sometimes if you're in London, you're in front of 9,000 plus people, and it's just a thrill. And not only that, you get to meet. You're obviously working with a bunch of different guys, and you become friends with guys, and it's the friendships that kind of mean the most to you at the end. It's the thing you miss the most when you're not reffing. Is definitely that friendship. You know what? I would never trade it for anything in the world. I think it's an honor to be on the ice with some of these guys because they're future NHL players, and I'm excited to get back on the ice when the OHL comes back.
For sure. Sorry to flip flop, but
Okay.
one thing else I meant to ask about being a part of Welland. What type of opportunities does it have for people who are aspiring to jump into the sports world?
Yeah, so we're in our first year. We only had one full-time paid employee. Now there's two things. Number one, we do have unpaid internships that we have every summer and every winter. So that's an opportunity to come in and literally, as our interns, and if you talk to people that have been in our program, it's very hands-on. You're planning everything. You're calling season ticket holders. You're selling groups. You're selling sponsorships. You're doing everything that you could ever imagine. It's not like going to some organizations and getting coffees or doing copies and all that kind of stuff you don't want to do. We're actually going to get you involved in one of the day. Now, apart from that is, down the road, I'm going to be looking to hire a few full-time staff members. So we're going to open up, and I think us as a league, the Intercounty Baseball League, is going to start to look, more to these opportunities to allow. Because that's the problem I find is a lot of people that graduate from sports programs, they get out in the real world and they realize, oh man, there's no sports jobs out there. Like, what's going on? Like, there's hardly anything. Where I want to be, we have 9 teams. Why can't we have, 2 full-time staff members per every team? That's going to open up a big window for prospective students to get their kickstart and get going. Because what a lot of people do is they realize there's no jobs and they go try to do something else. Which I would rather see a lot more people that graduate with a sports diploma or degree get into sports instead of just fizzling out and doing, I don't know, anything else.
Yeah, instead of doing grass cutting or construction. Nothing against grass cutting or construction.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're going to pay all that money to go to school for sports, you should try and work in sports.
Yes.
But to flip flop right back to hockey, for wrestling, what is some of the funnier, cooler parts of that you find other than just the big atmosphere?
I don't know. Some of the fans are funny. Some of the things you hear on the ice are pretty hysterical. People come up with new ones every year, which is pretty good. You know what? Going out with the guys after the game is always a good time. Go out and socialize. Stuff like that is always fun. But the road trips are fun. You go to a different city. Every weekend, and you get to experience. Both cities and stuff like that. So that's always fun. I also referee in the States a little bit and get to go to some cool places down there, which is also fun. And I've been to some cool places, so that's always good.
I know they're in different seasons, but does it ever have a conflict between hockey and baseball? Like, say you have to ref and then you have to rush back to, or there's a game that weekend that you have to make it back for?
No, I mean, our season doesn't start till the middle of May, and OHL is pretty much wrapped up by then, so it has never been an issue. Yeah, no, it hasn't. It really hasn't been an issue. The biggest issue has been, I'll be doing some promotional marketing events on weekends during the winter, and I'll have to try to, get that all set up while I'm trying to get off to, North Bay or something like that.
All right. One last question here. If you were to give a piece of advice to somebody aspiring to join the work or sports industry, what would it be?
Well, I'm going to give 2. These are my favorite 2. Number 1 is get involved with anything you can sports-wise. Build that resume, because I'll tell you right now, when I'm when I'm going to hire somebody, I want to know that they've done something. They've gotten involved. I'm not saying you need to go have a full-time job in your resume, but I want to know that you volunteered or you're a part of this or part of that, because then I know you worked part of as part of a team. You've managed people, stuff like that. Number two is keep the passion alive. Like, be as passionate about it as possible. Be as passionate as I am. Believe in what you're doing, and don't give up on the dream to, I remember my first year at Lambton, and someone, they asked, what do you want to do, you get this program, and people said, well, I want to be the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hey, listen, you want to be the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs? There's a guy named Kyle Dubas who, look at him, right? So there's always a possibility. Look at me. I never thought I'd ever own a baseball team, but it happened. I was just lucky I was in the right place, right time. But yeah, keep that passion alive, and it'll come to you.
All right. Thank you for coming on, Ryan. It means a lot to me. One thing I wanted to mention, make sure for all the viewers, we'll put the link in below, but make sure to vote for the Welland Stadium in the IBL Best of the Stadiums. Other than that, is there anything else you'd like to mention?
No, Bryce, thank you for having me on. Like I said, I love doing these things. I've done a lot of podcasts and shows recently, I'm guessing because of COVID, but I love to do it. I'll never say no. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.